Welcome back to LimQ Plus, everyone. On this channel, I'm 100%ing Breath of the Wild by a bit every day until the sequel Tears of the Kingdom comes out. Excuse me for this opening shot. I wanted to show you something that I've actually just posted on Twitter that I thought was pretty interesting. We have a shot, a Tears of the Kingdom screenshot, where you essentially get a little bit of an overview of the world. You can actually see back there where I'm aiming, is where the desert maze is right now in Breath of the Wild. I'm using the moon jump glitch right now. Excuse the weird noises that Link is making. In that shot, you can see the maze kind of fly up here instead. You also, and I actually double-checked this, can see Gerudo Tom, which you can't really see because of this big cloud in the base game right now. But the most suspicious thing about the shot for me were that there were absolutely no signs of things like this stable, the Colosseum, the Temple of Time. All of these things are conveniently hidden out of view. And I thought it was really interesting, giving my original theory about the game playing kind of like in two timelines, one as Ancient Hero Link and one as normal Link. Maybe a little bit more hope. I could still be completely wrong about that, but it is very interesting how every time we see green tunic Link in one of the screenshots, Hyrule's overworld seems to be completely empty. I was actually able in that screenshot, I linked the tweet in the pinned comment, to make out the Bridge of Hylia back there. I don't know when that canonically was built. I am on my main file right now though from speedruns, so that means also that arrow is still flying. Imagine getting a cool trick shot like that. That means I'm gonna have to load up my actual 100% file because today's topic is actually something else. So let me quickly do that. But I just wanted to show you this real quick. I thought this was an interesting opening. Let me know your thoughts about these screenshots with green tunic Link. But today's topic is actually something else. Tears of the Kingdom is coming out in 90 days. We have started with the next 10-day barrier. And I want to talk today about Ganondorf, and specifically about Ganondorf's voice. Now, there has been a little bit of discussion in at least my community, and I've seen some discussion online as well, about the fact that it was never properly confirmed that what you see in Tears of the Kingdom trailers and teasers is actually Ganondorf. I myself am pretty certain that it is, mainly because of the gemstone in his head and the Gerudo jewelry on his body. Most people that I have heard have said maybe it's the mice. I don't think so. However, I think there's technically a chance that we will see the mice in Tears of the Kingdom as well. And the way that could work is that maybe potentially the Blood Moon or even the new Malice is really just the mice, kind of like the mice's power, and Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom kind of just acts as a vessel for the mice's curse, or the mice's power. This technically does make sense if you think about his curse that he basically put on Hyrule in Skyward Swords. He basically always comes back in the form of Malice, and Ganondorf is always the poor guy who acts as his vessel. This is just, again, another kind of crackpot theory. I do think the voice we hear in the new Tears of the Kingdom trailer, and I'm actually hyper aware right now, which I told myself I was not going to, because somebody told me yesterday they don't like when I just run in circles or like stay around or like stand around in the overworld. Trust me, it's actually really hard to think about the 100% route and talk at the same time. Believe it or not. I'm gonna try to not stand out in the middle of nowhere for too much, but please excuse me if I do end up running some circles or just stay on the spot for a little bit, because obviously I have to think about what I'm saying, play the game, remember the 100% route, and at the end of the day I just want to sit here and talk about my favorite video game. But, right, let's get back to the original point. Ganondorf, I think, is the voice we hear in the new Tears of the Kingdom trailer. It seems to be Matt Mercer, the voice actor of Ganondorf. I'm going to continue to call him Ganondorf. And I've actually listened on stream to all of the different voice actors for this person. My favorite is actually the Italian one. I was a little bit disappointed in the Japanese voice acting. It sounded a little bit too nice, but that is exactly my point. That's what I want to talk about today. I think Ganondorf in all of the voices sounds evil, but not pure evil, distorted, demon, undead, overlord evil. And I think there's a reason for that. I might be wrong, as every time when I'm talking about a Tears of the Kingdom theory. Looks like I have this Korok already. But in my opinion, it almost makes no sense to cast someone like Matt Mercer for a role like that if it's not going to be more important. Now, the point I want to make is that I think in Tears of the Kingdom, we will and this is why I started the video the way I started it. I think we will meet Ganondorf before he was under the control of Malice, before he was the vessel, before he was the pure evil. I think we're gonna hear his voice actor in moments where he is just a normal human, maybe potentially even the ancient hero's friend. This is something I always thought about in the past. Maybe when we go back in time, it could be a memory, it could be actual gameplay. We'll see the ancient hero and Ganon be friends. The reason I think about that specifically is in the second teaser that ever came out for Tears of the Kingdom, you could actually see Ganondorf's outfit. And Ganondorf's outfit is very, very close and very reminiscent to the green tunic that the ancient hero, the sky tunic, I've heard some people call it, that Link is wearing in some of the shots from Tears of the Kingdom. We haven't seen that outfit recently in the trailer, only in screenshots. I do think there's some sort of significance to that. So I do think Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom is not just gonna be the main evil guy. I think he's actually going to be a real character that we will interact with, or at least learn about, which is why I think that the voice actor's job even wasn't just to be this evil dude. I think he's supposed to be an actual character. So I think what they're going to try to do with him is they're going to make a good, understandable, at least more relatable villain again, instead of Calamity Ganon, who's essentially just this numb, empty beast who is essentially attacking Hyrule. Those are basically my thoughts after thinking about it more. I think that's why the voices for Ganondorf sound evil, but not completely like grim. I think there's actually a reason for that. Obviously, again, I will say this every time when I talk about Tears of the Kingdom theories. I think otherwise people get salty because they disagree and say, oh my god, you're so wrong, and that's fine. I'm not claiming that I'm right. This is just my personal thoughts. Keep that in mind, and I'm absolutely open to the idea that none of this makes sense. But I think it's still interesting to at least discuss. That's at least my initial, or not my initial, because initially I was like, wait, Ganondorf should sound actually even more evil than he does. Why does he not sound even more evil? And now after thinking about it more, I think that is why. Also, as I'm playing through this section of the game, I am realizing that this is a part of the 100% speedrunning route that I've actually already kind of visited. Like, all of these Koroks here are already not necessarily completed, but most of them I have at least encountered already. So I might actually go past a bunch of Koroks here that I already have found, simply to make sure that I have found them. Okay, looks like I have this one too. And then the next thing I would do is the shrine. But again, let me know if you think there's a good chance about this. I think the biggest piece of information we are lacking is if time travel is even involved in the first place, if there's going to be two time kind of like time experiences that we're going to be having in Tears of the Kingdom, or if it's all just one. I think this is still the biggest point of discussion, and the biggest point where people are disagreeing with each other. So I think it's going to be really interesting to eventually find that out. But yeah, I kind of I basically think Ganondorf, I don't know if the Mice is going to be in the game, if anything about the Mice is going to be in the game. I think Ganondorf is, and I think the voice that we've heard in the trailer is Ganondorf, and I think there is a reason for that voice not to be some barely understandable, evil, distorted voice like people expected for an undead Ganondorf. And the reason that is I think it's more than just that Ganondorf is going to be an actual character. I actually think there's a chance, and I want to talk about this briefly, that the voice line that we do hear in the teaser, that Ganondorf is actually saying, is not happening. Like, they do that all the time in trailers, right? I don't actually think that what we hear Ganondorf say is happening when the images that are on screen are happening. On screen we see the Blood Moon attacking, but again, the German version of the trailer here actually helped me broaden my understanding a little bit more. I think in the English trailer, Ganondorf says something like, my servants attack them, let no one survive, something like that, right? But one wording confused me a little bit, because in the English version, Ganondorf said, destroy Hyrule and all her allies, right? Kind of talking about Hyrule, not Hylia, Hyrule as kind of like a person, right? And then some people told me that that's something that in English people do. Like, sometimes you call a country with like those pronouns, essentially saying, yeah, we need to protect Spain and her allies. I've never heard that before. Let me know if that's something you've heard before. People in my chat room on Twitch said that that's something that's happening. But then I listened to the German version. And in the German version, I think it's even more explicit. Ganondorf in the German version says something like, free these lands from Hyrule's grasp, right? Even more specifically addressing Hyrule as some sort of deity, or maybe they're talking about the goddess Hylia, maybe they're talking about Hyrule as a being, because in the German version, Ganondorf says, free these lands of Hyrule's grasp. That's like the rough translation. Like, Hyrule is currently controlling these lands. We need to free these lands from that. That's how Ganondorf is putting it. And I really am confused how that's meant. I don't know when that line is mentioned in the game, if this is actually mentioned when the Blood Moon is attacking, if this is... By the way, I feel like every time I see a Blood Moon in the game now, I'm going to be like twice as sus about it. I feel like that's that happens easily. But yeah, I wonder how that's meant. I don't know if any of you have thought about this a little bit more than me. I think every day I have like this new point of interest that I'm currently investigating when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom. Also, actually, let me double check. Is there not a Korok seed on top of this building? How did I just ignore that? Anyway, I need to be careful to not get too aware. Sometimes I'm gonna have to stop and in my mind think about where the next Korok seed is, so please don't get too upset with me when I'm running in circles. I know it was only one guy who said it in the comments yesterday, but I still want to make sure that you have some understanding that it can be hard, especially for me, who isn't even an English native speaker, to think about what I'm gonna say next, then say it, and then also play the 100% speedrun route at the same time. So I excuse myself if I ever stop. But that being said, my favorite word, I think I'm gonna come to an end here. I just wanted to kind of give you my initial thoughts about Ganondorf's voice and why I now think it actually makes a little bit more sense that it's not necessarily just this evil, distorted voice. Let me quickly go to, and I actually just remembered where the next Korok seed would be. The next Korok seed location, which is something I'm fairly sure I've probably gotten already because it's such an obvious one. And then end today's episode. For now, tomorrow we will have reached 89 days until release. The next 10-day barrier is unofficially reached. And we are in the final 3 months now, pretty much. Specifically tomorrow is going to be the 11th. I say this all the time. I will personally be playing Tears of the Kingdom when it's the 11th of May for me, as I'm probably going to be getting it early in some of the other eShops. So 3 months until we actually get our hands on it. This is where the next Korok seed would be. It looks like I've already gotten it, and I already saw that I got the next Korok seed too. So let me just stop here and then continue from here tomorrow with the next topic. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.